Okay, so we'll start now. Last class, what are we discussing about? Last class, we were discussing about types of classes.
Classes,
Inheritance.
types of classes.
Okay. There are two types of classes which we had come across. One is concrete class and the other one is abstract class. So concrete class is the one where there is a possibility of initiating the business transaction. And abstract class doesn't have that ability. We cannot initiate to start any transaction at the abstract classes. That's what we have discussed. Is it possible? I'm going to ask a question. Is it possible to have an application without abstract classes? Practically speaking, is it possible to have an application running without even one abstract class? Not only in Pega, in any object-oriented technology, you can say.
No.
Practically, it is possible or not possible?
Yes, it's possible.
Not possible.
100% it is possible. Okay. I told yesterday itself we have discussed about the same. Practically, while creating, it is not mandatory that you should have abstract. Abstract is just a derivation from concrete. Okay. And concrete can be used as abstract. Okay. If you are for that, you need to know about it. Like you should have to always know about the current structure. This should be used as concrete. This should, I mean, like abstract way, even though it is concrete, like that. But it is difficult in reality. If a new person comes, they may initiate the transaction. Then why do you create abstract classes, even though it is possible to run applications without abstract, to align the real business structure? So the real business structure demands an abstract. So that must be there here in the technology as well. That's why abstract classes exist. Otherwise, there is no need of abstract class, frankly speaking. Okay. And next one, inheritance concept. In general, we discussed about inheritance means whenever there is a need of accessing the functional components or attributes from one application to another application, then we go for defining inheritance relation between the classes. So that inheritance relation, when we define, usually we can access the functionalities from parent class into child class. One class acts as a parent, another class acts as child class. A child class can access the features of parent class, but not vice versa. So in the inheritance relation, you need to remember one thing, every one of you. Just give me 1 minute. Chair. Okay. So in the inheritance relationship, a child class can access the functional features from parent, but not reverse. This is one point. Another point I'll tell you. For example, we have three classes, class A and class B, class C. Class A is parent, class B is child. And class C is child for class B, means class B inheriting from A, class C is inheriting from B. If this is the case, C can access the features of B as well as A. You need to understand and remember this. In a chain, inheritance in a chain, parent, child, grandchild, and so on. Okay. The bottom one can access the functional features from all the top classes. Clear? That you need to remember. Okay, next. Usually, whenever we design the structure of classes and align them at the appropriate positions, usually at higher level, we will see abstract classes. At higher level, what do you see? Abstract classes. That's not mandatory, but usually that's how the structure will be built. Okay. Next, we are going to discuss about inheritance concept and classes in Pega. So when we create new application, we created new application by following the wizard. We created two applications. One is framework application and the another one is implementation application. When we have created applications, Pega has automatically created, that is the initial setup. Pega has automatically created so many classes. Okay, when I log into implementation application, here you can see 1, 2, 3 classes we can see. And if you backspace it, you will see so many other classes also got created. See, we are not going to focus on all the classes now itself. We will always focus on these 3 for some time. Okay, so here you go. Let's look at the classes created. Okay, let's look at the classes created in our application. Okay, first we will go by implementation. Log into implementation application, and then you go to App Explorer as usual. Okay, so I'm going to copy this now. So copy the name of this. So these are 3 classes created by Pega, new application wizard, the wizard which we have used that has created this 3. Okay, we should make use of these 3. Let's look at the definition of, let's look at the definition of each of these 3 classes. Each of these 3 classes. So these classes plus inheritance combinedly I will explain you. Okay, so here you go. When you look at the definition of each of these classes, if you want to access top class, the first one, backspace up to here. Okay, now you will get that class. Please, you select it, and if you want to see that class definition, so now we will go with, okay, let me write down here the 3 classes here. DG, first one is DG. This is same as organization name, right? Organization class, we call it as organization class. And the next one is DG-DG auto. Okay, we should not read it separately. I will tell you the reason. And the next one is, this is for our understanding, in comparison with organization structure, we will call it as revision class or application class. Why application class? I'll tell you. And now the third one is this one. This is generally called as unit class, class group. I will explain you what is that. Or you may say transaction class, whatever the convenient terminology for now. Or you will say work class. Okay, I'll write down here. This is the class where transaction can be initiated, processed, or closed. We will go to the definition of this class. We will see that. We will go to the definition of each of these classes. Okay, now right click on DG and then definition. So we look at, see, this has been automatically created, right? Pega would have chosen it as either abstract or concrete. Okay, and some other options also will come. Let's try to look at what are the options that Pega has automatically chosen. So today, what are we going to do? We are just trying to make an observation of what is being created by Pega when we create new application. Okay, in that we are focusing on classes, what type of classes it has created and all. So one should know about all these things. Definition, go to the definition. So when you go to the definition of the class, here you can see, okay, this is what the window that gets opened. We did not choose any options here. These are been defaultly chosen by Pega at the time of creation. The top level class of our application, I will write down that point also here. Where is it? This is topmost class of our application. So of our entire business application, this is topmost class. Okay, so here you go. Now this is created as abstract class, the topmost class, organization class. Organization class is being created as, what is that? Abstract class. Everyone clear? So organization class topmost one is created as abstract class. Okay, మీకు కనపడకపోతే ముందుకు రండి, మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ నుంచి కనెక్ట్ అవుతుంది ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి. దట్స్ నాట్ అలౌడ్. Okay, so here you go now. This is an abstract class. We are just observing the type of the class. As of now, we are going to just observe the type of class. Abstract class, it is being created. Top level we already discussed. It will not create any transaction and all. It will just supply the required components to the bottom levels. Okay, next we go with division or application class. So I will show you that. See here, the next one is digit auto, right? So right click on this. It shows here digit auto. If you go to the definition here, if you go to the definition here, and here you go. What is the type of class for this? This is also abstract. See, if you look at the current application created, you go to the application definition, the current application definition, digit auto, application display name is digit auto insurance. What is the actual ID of application? Digit auto. The application ID and the name of this class, both are matching or not? That's why we are calling it as application class. The middle one, why I am calling it as abstract. So when you compare with organization structure, we are calling it as division. Okay, why we are calling it as application class? The reason is this class name and the application ID both are matching. And if you observe this class name in its ID, it's not created standalone having only digit auto. It is being created concatenating means attaching with previous class DG, where a hyphen is being used. Okay, for that appending, a hyphen has been used. What is the reason it is being created like this? You'll be learning after some time. But when you read the class name of digit auto, you always should read like DZ dash digit auto. That hyphen is there, right? We read it as dash. We are going to read this one as dash. You should not read it like digit, what is that? Digit auto. Standalone, you should not read. You should always read it like DZ dash digit auto. Understand? Because that's the entire class name. The class name when created, it's not created independently. It's been created concatenating to the organization. Division is created attaching to organization. That attachment is, that concatenation is there defined with which symbol? Hyphen, that is called as dash. Okay, so here you go. So this is application class is also created as abstract class. Abstract, we are just making an observation. Next one, unit or transaction class, you also call it as class group. Okay, the terminology of class group is technical, which I will explain maybe after 4 or 5 days, maybe 3-4 days. It will take time, but you can understand transaction class meaning. The meaning of transaction class, you can understand. Clear, everyone? Let's go ahead now. Okay, expand this digit auto, and here you have work class. Okay, right click on this and then see the definition. Go to the work class and go to the definition. So this display name is work, but actual name is what? Daisy dash digit auto dash work. In the definition, you can see select class type is concrete class. Concrete class. So this is the class where transaction can be initiated, processed, and closed. Clear, everyone? So you need to remember this one. We can call it as, in short, we can call it as work class. What is the meaning of work? Work means transaction, right? Or you want to call it conveniently transaction class, you call it as transaction. But technically, you have to call it as class group. I will take, not now. It will take time. But for now, if you use the terminology of work class, where work will get initiated, processed, and closed, or you want to call it as for some time transaction class, where transaction gets initiated, processed, and closed, that's okay, you can call. Okay, the class group terminology will slowly get it. Okay, once we understand, you will be able to really remember that. Then just we have made an observation of what type of classes created from organization division to transaction class up to remaining classes. I am not focusing. Okay, you also don't bother about remaining classes. Now let's discuss about inheritance. So far everyone clear? So what is the purpose of work class?
Transaction initiated and process
That
and
is the
close.
place we can initiate the business transaction. I will ask you one question. How you represent a transaction in BPM? How do we represent a transaction model in BPM? Flow chart,
Process.
flow diagram, by creating a flow diagram. For example, if I create a flow diagram here in the work class, is there a chance I can execute it to initiate the transaction? It is there. Suppose if we create a flow here, imagine I created a flow in Digit Auto or DG, any of these two classes, I can create flow. But if I execute to initiate the transaction, will that be executable as a triggering point of creating transaction? No, it will not be. It, but it won't be executable. Okay, so let's go ahead now and just keep that in mind. We'll get to know about it practically. Now we are going to discuss about the concept of what? Inheritance. Inheritance in Pega. What is that? It's a new topic. Okay, so inheritance in Pega.
Yeah, one small question. Is it fine if I
Oh,
disturb?
two types. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yesterday, when we were discussing abstract class and concrete class, we we mentioned that in abstract class we can't initiate the transaction, right?
Yes.
Abstract class, yes, you cannot. It is very simple. You don't have any button to trigger the transaction there. Okay,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but now in concrete class we have mentioned that you can initiate, process, and close, right? What you just said.
correct, correct. Concrete class.
Concrete class. So can we do the other two things like process and close in the
See,
abstract class?
yes. See, closing will not happen. I will tell you. Simple example. Loan department is the way is where loan transaction has been initiated and it is being processed. During the processing, it will go through verification department. Is verification department directly close the transaction after the verification is completed or hand over it back to loan team?
And we're back to laundry.
Usually in a happy path and when everything is fine, where it starts, there it gets closed. Okay, whoever opens, they will only finally close it generally, right? Okay, wherever it goes in between so many departments, finally it will come to the place where it has been started. Generally, that's how the real world. Same way, concrete class transaction gets initiated, processed. It will go through verification. Verification also some processing will be done, and finally it will come back to concrete and gets closed there. Clear?
So can we say that in abstract class transaction can only be processed?
Yeah. It involves during the processing. It supplies common features during the processing which are needed for different departments. It involves some processing. Okay, in between.
Okay, sure. So yeah,
See,
based on the business scenario, what you said is correct, but I'm just asking generic, like flexibility of the software. So we can see that
see,
in abstract class.
practically you may be
Uh,
able to close it if you want to abruptly close. Possible, but
okay,
you don't do it generally in the
okay,
technology also. In the technology also, it will not be designed like that. Okay. If
okay,
start is at concrete, end also will be at the concrete. Okay. In between, if it fails somewhere, still it will go to other place, but it will not be abruptly closed. If you write it by yourself for closing somewhere, it will get closed. But even if it is closed there, it will finally come back to the control will come back to the concrete class place only.
yeah, okay. Thank you, thank you.
Okay. See, Inheritance we discussed already in general. Universally, we talked about what is inheritance concept. So in Pega also we have so many classes, right? So the top level organization class, division or application class, unit class. See, there are some features, some rules or some functional components we create at organization, some we create at division, some we create at unit. If the functional component is pretty common, that can be accessible, that has to be accessible everywhere throughout application. Everywhere throughout application, if you want to access something, where do you place it? Where do you place it out of these three levels?
Organization class.
Organization level. Everywhere, from one corner to the other corner of entire business application. Entire business. Then you place it at organization. Okay. If it is only for one wing, one separate wing, okay, that can be called as division. If it should be accessible to division and connected units of division, but not for other divisions, then where do you place it? In the division. In the division generally. If it is only for that particular transaction, it should be accessible, not to other transaction models. Then you will place it at unit level. Correct? How do you know where to place? As a developer, you cannot simply decide as a thumb rule. There is no thumb rule. You need to understand the business. Then you need to understand the business requirement. And based on the business requirement and business only, you will be able to decide where to place. So for that reason, a developer should also have functional knowledge. Application knowledge is very, very important. Clear, everyone? So learn the business plus technology. When you are learning both, then only you can be a good developer. You do not understand business, but you know you are a gem at technology, there is no use. Even you know 50-60% of technology, but you are very good at understanding the business, maybe you can achieve better results. That is possible. Okay. So now, if any functional component placed at organization usually should be accessible to below levels. That's the point in creating organization division unit levels, right? That means between these three classes, we need inheritance relation to be defined. Yes or no? So pattern inheritance means it is class naming pattern defines inheritance. Class naming pattern defines inheritance relation between organization, division, and unit, or any other classes, not only these things. Okay, unit classes where inheritance relation is going to be being represented. It's been represented by dash. What is that? Dash. That is what you call hyphen. Okay, clear, everyone? So that means the three classes what we have here. So there is already inheritance relation defined. These three belongs to implementation application or not? These three are related to the same class, same application. So in an application, the higher level classes in the application from, see, always your focus should be at the transaction class. From the transaction class, either you go top or either you go bottom. Okay, you should not look at the top class. So the heart is always which class? Transaction class. From there only anywhere else you should have to traverse to. So from this class, the higher level classes, if I want to access the functionalities, I need inheritance relation to be defined. For that, Pega comes up with an inheritance called pattern inheritance. What is the inheritance? Pattern inheritance. So pattern inheritance is a parent and child relationship defined between two or more classes, where the inheritance relation is defined by, represented by a symbol called, what is that symbol? Dash. You may call it dash. Okay. A dash, B dash, C. If I write like A dash, B dash, C and ask you, what is this inheritance type? Will you be able to say? Pattern inheritance. What class is C? Okay. You should not say A and B. You should say A dash B. Okay. You should say A. Okay. Top level is A. There is no further one. After that, B you should not read standalone. You should read it like A dash B, because when B created, it is created concatenating to A for the reason of defining inheritance relationship between ordination and division. It is very simple to understand pattern inheritance. The purpose, what is the reason pattern inheritance exists? Pattern inheritance will be used to access the functional features of higher classes of same application. Higher classes of same application. It is very simple. See, you take a family. In a family, grandparents, parents, children, and so on below also, let's say. Okay. From the bottom level, all are connected to each other by a relation. What is that? Blood relation. What is that? So in a family, the blood relation can be, you can imagine that as a, you can consider that as a pattern inheritance. You all are connected by blood relation within the family. Okay, that is called as pattern inheritance. Within application, if you want to access the functionalities of higher classes, which inheritance is going to help for that? Pattern inheritance. Some other application will not come in the pattern. Other family will not come into blood relation. Yes or no? But other family, how do I access? Suppose male person will access the property of grandfather, father, grandfather, and so on by blood relation. Suppose in India, how it works? A male person gets married to a female from another family. That is a direct relation between these two. Now he will get some amount of that, whatever it is so called. Okay, he will be able to access it, right? So this is a direct relation between two families. Okay, blood relation is pattern. This inheritance is what? Direct inheritance. Clear, everyone? Let's go to direct inheritance. Direct inheritance purpose is to access the functional features from the classes of other application. From which application? Other. Usually that other is not the other family, only connected family. Connected application means which application? Built on application. Usually speaking, what? Built on application. Clear, everyone? So direct inheritance is, again, this is also inheritance relation between two classes of usually, what is that? Okay, I'll write down like this: current and, yeah, what is that? Built on application. Built on application. See here, I'll draw a diagram and show you. Okay, I'll open a diagram which is already available. What is that? I'll go from here. It is, see, diagrams. Pattern inheritance, you know, right? I told you already. Direct inheritance. Application hierarchy. Inheritance. Direct inheritance. See here. I'll open this diagram. See, this is Pega platform, correct? And this is framework application, correct? And this is implementation application. In implementation application, you have some classes. Similarly, framework application also will have classes or not. Similarly, Pega platform also has classes, some functional components. Within application, from another classes, usually higher classes, if you want to access functionalities, then pattern inheritance is there. How do you access the functional features from other application classes? Built on application classes also I want to access, right? See, you may be asking me one question. Already the application is built on top of another application, right? It can directly access. No, that's not the case. See, within the application itself, one class functionalities to access into another class, inheritance is must or not? Wherever it is, to access the functional features of one class to another class, inheritance is must or not? Within application itself, inheritance is mandatory between classes. Then why not other application? Other application is built on. Still, other application classes, how do I access into current application? Only when inheritance relation is there. That is also must. Okay. So other application classes I want to access into current application classes. There will be such needs. Then pattern inheritance is not possible. It will not be visible in the pattern. then we need another type of inheritance. What is that? Direct inheritance. Through direct inheritance, we can just mention another application which is called a built-on application class as parent classes. So direct inheritance helps accessing the functionalities from built-on application classes. Pattern inheritance helps accessing the functionalities from within application. Current application classes, higher level ordination, division and all will be able to access by using what? Pattern inheritance. Pattern inheritance. Built-on application classes, how do I access?
Direct.
Direct inheritance.
See, I told you already, within family, the relation is pattern, right? Blood relation, connected, blood relation, blood relation. Other family, okay, get married, maybe you'll get some property accessible, okay? That is direct relation, okay? Direct inheritance. This is clear, everyone? You'll be able to remember this forever, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here
Is
you
it
go.
always built on?
Come
Should
again?
it be always built on only the direct
That's
inheritance?
simple. Only when I get married to someone from other family only I can have that visibility or accessibility. If we are separate, then no visibility, right? You create one application, another application, no built-on relation. First, I cannot see that is not at all visible. So relation making later. First, it is not at all visible. Both are separate. If you create one on top of another, then first visibility will come. Then you can access, you can define the relation. To define relation, you need to have that class accessible right here. But that will be accessible only when there is a connection between applications. Understand? Make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, can we just go to that diagram
Diagram.
once again, please?
Okay. Here you go.
Yeah, so there is a write-up in the conclusion, right? The bottom one.
I will talk about
There's
it.
a
I have not
text.
yet done.
Yeah, no, I just a small doubt. Application A must be created inheriting from app B. Also, class inheritance between app A and app B. So the application inheritance means the built on which you are
That's
saying,
what
right?
built on. Built on
Okay.
application means
Yeah,
inheritance.
it is same. Both are same. The built on is explained as
Yeah,
application A
built on,
must be
another
created
way you can
inheritance.
call it as inheritance. Yesterday also
Oh,
I told you while
yeah,
explaining inheritance.
sure.
We created application on top of application. That also you can consider as inheritance between
And
application level. Okay.
yeah, sure. I just had a small doubt that
Okay.
inheritance is built on only. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Here you go now. Where would you define that relation? You need to define that relation, right? So direct inheritance relation we have to define. So direct inheritance can be defined in the class rule form. What is the rule form? You open the definition of classes, right? When you open definition of a class, the form displayed is rule form. You call it as rule form. See, application you open, go to its definition. This is application rule form. Means it defines, it has the details about the application. This defines the, this shows the class details. This is called as class rule form. Rule form means it is related to something like application, class, section, anything. Okay. So the terminology rule you will be learning slowly. If you open this, okay, in the direct inheritance, I am going to show you as of now only focusing on transaction class. I'm not going to focus on ordination and division. You also don't focus now for next some time. Okay. Open transaction class, scroll down. What is the parent class here? What is the parent class? Work dash, cover dash, just for your information, work dash, cover dash. For the transaction class, the parent class is mentioned as work dash. So before I explain you this, I will just brief out. See, Pega platform has so many OOTP functionalities, correct?
Yeah.
Pega platform has so many OOTP functionalities means those functionalities should be there inside classes or not?
Yeah.
Those functionalities should be there inside. So in Pega platform also classes should be there or not?
Yes.
So there are so many classes available in Pega platform. So many functionalities are available in different classes. We don't need to know about all the classes now. Just by name, I will give you information. See. So Pega PRPC application the functionalities that are there inside that, we call it as OOTB functionalities. We call them as what? OOTB functionalities. Okay, I will turn on that folder. Spotlight. So it's not good actually. Hold on. I will have to change the mouse settings itself. Let me try once. Where can I find that mouse color and all? Mouse point. Mouse pointer. I'll take this and increase the size a little bit. I think this will be good, right? The person who has messaged. Is it okay?
No, sir, like it's showing in this one.
Respond, please. It's clear now. Jairas.
Still not, sir, showing cursor.
Sir, you
The
don't
change is
see it
not.
in yellow
I
color?
can see it.
Yellow color. It is, I updated
Yellow
it
color.
to a little bit size, big size and yellow color so that it will be clear for you, all of you.
It's
Okay?
visible, sir. Easy.
Okay, thank you. I think this should be even better than previous one. See here, direct parent. Okay, before that, Pega platform has OOTB functionalities in its OOTB classes, where it has in the OOTB class. See, what class has what type of functionalities, that we are not going to discuss now. I will just give you the name of OOTB classes, the name of OOTB class names of which are top level. See, Pega platform also has so many classes. Again, inheritance relation is there. Topmost class in Pega is @base class. What is the topmost class in Pega? What is meant by topmost class? Parent class of all
All the
classes.
classes.
All classes of Pega is @base class. In the name itself, it has @ symbol. Next, after that, there are so many other classes like next level, work dash. In the class name itself is dash is there. Name itself dash is there. I will tell you the reason after some time if time permits. Work dash, cover dash. That means how many classes are these? 2. Can you tell me what is the current and what is the parent? Work dash is parent
Work
of
is
Work dash is parent and then
Work
current
dash
is
cover.
work dash cover.
yes, work dash, cover dash. Should not read
Dash,
it
yeah.
like cover dash standalone. Okay. For work dash, cover dash, parent is what? Work dash. Which
work
inheritance? What type of inheritance it is? Pattern.
Pattern.
Pattern inheritance.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Data dash, int dash, okay, index dash, cmis dash, okay, embed dash, assign dash,
Rule
rule
dash.
dash, etc. I don't remember all. Some number of classes. We will be knowing about all these classes. Practically, we'll be accessing all this going forward. Okay. What functionalities are there in these classes? Each of these classes is not a question now. The question is just to know, okay, there are classes. You don't even need to by heart. Leave it whenever you come across, automatically your brain remembers it. Okay. So now the first turn is for work dash, cover dash. See, we did not choose this option. When we create a new application, our transaction class is created. For the transaction class, the parent class was automatically being chosen in the direct inheritance. In the direct inheritance, parent class was automatically chosen by Pega as work dash, cover dash. Suppose I remove and I give something else. It is editable, right? I will remove
Yeah.
this. I would like to give something else just to explain you the concept. Okay, save this. Is it being saved? Compilation
No.
itself, it is giving error. What is the error message? Look at here closely. How many number? Even I don't know how many number are there. Class group should inherit from. Class group means transaction class. A transaction class must be inherited from, what does it say? Work dash or any of its subclasses. Subclass or child class, anything is okay. Subclass or child class. See, if a class is if a class must be inheriting from work dash, What if it inherits from child class of work dash? Does it also means it is inheriting from work dash ultimately? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I said that
Yeah.
a class should inherit from A, but the class is inheriting from B, but B is inheriting from A. Does it mean C is inheriting from A also? That is
Yeah.
also okay. So it is a practice that Pega platform is being designed like your transaction class must be inherited from work dash or child class of work dash. That's the reason why by default, what is the class that Pega has chosen here?
Work
Work dash.
dash. Dash.
Might have chosen work dash or work dash cover dash is also okay, no problem. Okay, it has chosen that. From this, what we can understand, our implementation application related transaction class can access OOTP features of Pega. From which class? Either work dash, cover dash, or work dash.
Work
You
dash.
can access from there or not there. You can
Yeah.
access. We are purchasing Pega platform license to use some Pega provided features so that I don't need to create everything from the scratch. How do I make use of it? Pega platform application into my business application by direct inheritance concept. Direct inheritance helps accessing the OOTB features of Pega platform classes into our business application classes. Make sense? Clear? Everyone online, are you clear now? Up to here, are you
Yes.
clear?
How is
Yes.
the
And
direct
by
inheritance in
Yes. Yes.
see, I did not simply tell you direct inheritance means you define here. Okay, I am trying to tell you the reason and I am trying to give you the clear design, structural design, what is being created. What is the reason we need pattern inheritance in Pega? Pattern inheritance is required to access the higher level classes of current application. Organization division to access current application classes, pattern inheritance helps. Again, why do we need direct inheritance? Direct inheritance helps accessing the functional features from built-on application classes. That may be OOTP or framework. Okay, this is the present design I am telling. Up to here, if you are clear, every one of you, I will go to log into framework application, explain you direct inheritance concept. Okay, let's log into framework application, new private window. At a time, if I want to have two different logins, I need to use a different session. Dev fw at the rate
Harsha, yeah.
visit.
Huh? Hi, Harsha, question here.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So you mentioned about the direct class and the work hyphen cover. It automatically picked up that as the parent class,
At the
right?
time of creating new application, that's how the structure has been created. Okay.
Correct.
Yes, please.
So the question is, this is applicable general to the concrete classes, or it is also applicable to the abstract, probably on the
That's why
concrete
I
class.
told you at the beginning, don't focus on any other class other than this transaction class for now.
Understood.
Don't
Got it.
go beyond my teaching
Got
as of
it. Okay. Is there any specific thing which we need to understand? Which OODB class or the framework class it has automatically
now.
picked up,
There
or
is nothing like that. For now, the point that should be there in your mind is only one point. Transaction class. Parent class is work dash. Or child class of work dash. That's the only point you should have in your mind. Okay. Don't focus on any other classes. There is no thumb rule. This class should be this class. The thumb rule here is only this class. For other classes, I am not going to talk about it now. Okay. You also don't think about it. If you want to learn in a better way, don't think about too many directions at the initial stages of learning. You'll get confused and even you forget about the origin. Okay. So I logged into framework application, right? Framework application also has one transaction class. Okay, but here the difference between implementation and framework application, you see 4 classes. How many classes? Transaction class here is a combination of 4. There it is 3. There is no, see, it's not mandatory that it should have 4, that should have only 3. That can have 10, this can have 15. It can have 2, that can have 3. No matter. But there is one additional class by name FW. FW stands for Pega is created like that. See, if I show you a class name A dash B dash C and ask you this is a transaction class of implementation or framework, you can straight away say this is implementation. If I show you a class name A-FW-B-C, straight away you can say this is related to framework. That's the only intention. There's no other reason. Okay. So the class name makes sense to the developers that this is related to what? Framework. Understand? The organization class is common for both applications, but remaining three are different. See, this work is not same as that work. That work is different. That's why I told you that is not standalone. A-B- work. Here it is A-FW-C- work. This digit INS. There it is digit auto. Okay. Only top class is common class for both applications. As per our design which we have done. What is the parent class of framework application class? What is the parent class? Again, work dash cover dash. Parent class, direct parent. I'm sorry. Direct parent of framework application transaction class is work dash cover dash. I will draw the same as diagram. Okay. Just see here. I'll go through the paint. Draw this as a diagram. So here you go now. I will draw this here like this. Okay, this is work dash or work dash cover dash, anything is okay. Work dash cover dash, and this is implementation class group, and this is framework class group. This is framework class group. Okay, so now there is an inheritance relation between this. Here you go, and here you go. There is an inheritance relation between these two. So this is accessing from higher level, and this is accessing from higher level. At the present design I have drawn. The present design I have drawn like this. You need to understand one thing. I will tell you. See, in the direct inheritance, remember this point. Comma and choosing another class is not allowed. It is not allowed. Means in the direct inheritance, how many classes I can choose? Only one class I can choose. Choosing two classes is not possible. Okay. But parent of parent is parent, right? That you know. Parent of parent is parent. This is the present design. Okay. I will go to the this one. Direct inheritance. Direct inheritance lookup. So we are going to look at direct inheritance relation. Okay. So the existing structure of classes, that is transaction classes. But direct inheritance is this one. This is the existing. See, from this diagram, you can say implementation transaction class can access the features of this one, OOTB or dash cover dash, and framework transaction class can access from here. So implementation transaction class, can it access the functional features of framework transaction class, which is actually built on application class? From the diagram, you can easily understand and say, is it possible? How is?
Yes.
Yes.
Through direct.
For both the classes, the parent is same.
Is there any inheritance relationship defined between these two different
Yeah.
classes? No. When it
Yes,
is no,
sir.
can access or cannot access? Cannot
No,
access.
we,
All of you are following. You don't need to think too much about technology, technicals and all. Understand the diagram, that is pretty much fair. From the diagram itself, is there any inheritance relation defined between implementation transaction class and framework transaction class? Is it been defined? It is not been
no.
the current design, so it is not possible to access. So how do I achieve? I wanted to achieve that because my implementation application is created on top of framework application to access its features, right? But from present design, that is not possible. Okay. But implementation application should access from framework. Yes, correct. Implementation application should be able to access from framework. With that intention only we created as built on application. right? But from the current OOTP design Pega provided, that's not being possible. So that we need to make a change now. We need to make a change such that implementation framework should be able to access from work dash cover dash. Implementation should be able to access from framework as well as work dash cover dash. What changes I have to make for this? Tell me diagrammatically. So what should
Arrow
I
Draw a
do?
line from framework to
Draw-
implementation. Remove
yes.
Draw
the
a line from framework to
framework to implementation.
Implementation.
I'm going to draw a line from framework to implementation. I have drawn, but this is up to here it is wrong. This is okay.
You can remove the line.
Implementation application, two direct parents you have defined. This one. That is not possible. Just now I have shown. Only one. What should I do for that?
We need to draw a line.
Work dash cover dash to implementation transaction class.
Right. So make it. We need. Yeah, we need to make it a multiple.
Make a work
multi-level.
dash cover dash in the middle.
Multi-level. Okay. Multi-level is okay. Correct. No. Multiple is also possible. In Pega it is possible. Okay. See here now. If I change the diagram like this, you see here. Framework as usual, it is accessing from OOTP because that is built on application. Or implementation built on is framework. So it is able to access by making this change. Also, here you go. Implementation can access the feature. I'm sorry. Implementation can access the features of framework as well as from here. How come? Parent of parent is parent. Yes or no? So this is what the change we need to make. So, but we want, okay, from the above, we can say that, we can see that FW can access, FW work class. What is that? Work class can access the features of OOTP work dash cover dash class. Same way, okay, the same way I'll copy paste it. Here, implementation application can access, worker class can access the features of work dash cover dash. But what we want to achieve is achieve the below. What do we want to achieve? FW work class and as well as, I'm sorry, FW work class as well as work dash cover dash, both it should access. It should access OOTP also, right, if required. So how do I achieve this? Now diagrammatically I have shown you. Change the diagram like this. Okay, now let's make this change practical in the application. I mean like practical. Okay, so now you need to tell me, I can log into framework, I can log into implement. Where should I make the change? In which class I should make the changes?
Implementation.
In implementation.
Implementation
Application.
And
And
the
here you go to
definition
the
of work class.
definition of work. Hold
Transaction
on.
class.
Please mute. Till I finish this practical, please mute. Definition of class through. Okay, and then scroll down. Remove this. Means by default Pega is not giving a proper structure. We are correcting it. Now click the down arrow on your keyboard. You don't need to remember and type. If you click the down arrow, if you type DG, it will highlight something. See, if framework class group is visible here in this drop down, then you select it. It must be visible here. Only built on application classes will be visible. Other classes will not be visible here. Okay. Save this. Save. Done. That's the practical for today. You should know the reason why we have changed it. Why? We have changed it. In implementation class, change the inheritance to framework class. So now implementation work class, parent class is direct parent class is what? Framework work class. So implementation work class can access the features of built on application work class. If you open the definition of this by clicking edit icon here itself, for this the parent class is what? Work dash cover dash. If you open work dash cover dash, the parent class is what? Work dash. If you open work dash, the parent class is what? @base class. You open base class, the parent class is that is a topmost class. There won't be any parent class for direct parent for @base class at all. There is no. See, suppose I'll add one more point here. Up to this, everything is completed. Whatever I wanted to deliver about inheritance is complete. If I remove this and make it blank and save, it is not allowing. Means direct inheritance is mandatory. What is mandatory? Direct inheritance is mandatory. To have a parent class mentioned at the direct inheritance is mandatory. First of all, there should be something. For DG class, is there any pattern parent? For the topmost class in our application, topmost class is DG. For DG, is there any pattern parent? No. There is no pattern parent, right?
No.
So pattern parent is optional or mandatory? A class DG exists without pattern parent, yes or no? So pattern parent is
Empty.
pattern inheritance.
What is the
optional.
organization?
Whereas direct inheritance is mandatory. That you need to remember. That is one interview question. Pattern inheritance is optional, whereas direct inheritance is mandatory. Okay, clear everyone? Okay, that's it for now. Any doubts or any question other than these three classes? I mean, like framework and implementation transaction class. Do not bother about any other classes for direct inheritance. When you are learning direct inheritance now, you have to focus only on framework transaction class, implementation transaction class. No other classes. Don't ask me any questions related to that now. Okay, because you will even forget all this. You'll get confused a lot. Okay, that's why I did not even touch that other classes. See, today whatever that we have learned, the most important point. One, I will ask you one question. Try to answer. This is an interview question. Why Pega has two different types of inheritances? Why not only one inheritance? That's an interview question. From today's concept, whatever we have learned, if you understand the concept clearly overall, then you should be able to answer this. Why Pega has two different types of inheritances? Why not only one inheritance?
To access multiple
Is not same application. Some components are available in built-on application. Same application higher level is possible by pattern. Other application classes is possible by other means built-on application classes is possible by direct inheritance. So two different inheritances exist. Perfect. See here, for our work class, pattern parent classes are there. At the same time, direct parent class also there. What is direct parent? Some other class. These are different classes. At a time, a class is inheriting from two different classes. Multiple parents are there at a time for one class. This is not possible in Java. This is called multiple inheritance. What is this called as? Multiple inheritance is not possible in Java with classes, but Pega has achieved multiple inheritance with classes itself. How come? By means of pattern plus direct inheritance. A class at a time having pattern parents and direct parent. This is multiple inheritance. This is called as dual inheritance. What is it called as? Dual. Two types of inheritance at a time for a same class. See, DG. DG, does it have pattern? No, but it has direct if you see. Okay, it has only one inheritance. But DG auto has two. DG auto has pattern, it has direct also. You observe. Okay, so dual inheritance. Class may have dual parents. One parent in the direction of pattern, another parent in the direction of direct. This is called multiple inheritance. Okay, just for your information. Please mute that person with a lot of background. Okay, this is clear, everyone. That's it for today. Don't ask me even one question now. Go back, go through this document, draw the diagrams, Try to understand clearly, analyze why, all that, and then only come back tomorrow before 15 minutes to ask any questions. You can wind up for today. Thank you for joining.